This is the yarn doll that you have received. What I did is I tied off the head and the torso. I left extra string in case you guys want to readjust it and change the size of it. So I already pre-counted 9 strands of string here for you guys, and what you're going to want to do is get separate them into groups of 3, so 3, 3, and 3, 3 equal groups. And what you're going to want to do on one side is you're going to want to start by braiding. So what you want to do is you want to grab those 3 strands and hold them in between your fingers, and what you're going to bring underneath is a strand of yarn, like the 3 strands, and then just pull it out, and then just bring over, under, over, under, over, under. And it makes it a lot easier when you have someone else there to help you so they can hold the doll. You do not want to be making a really tight braid because your head's going to start getting lopsided and the little strands of yarn will come undone. So you should be getting a little yarn arm that looks like this, that's braided. You can have an adult help you braid, or you can find a YouTube tutorial on how to braid. But it would be a nice fine motor skill, working on fine motor skills here, separating this and getting your strings braided. So I have 3, 3, and 3, and I'm just over, under. I bring a strand underneath and I grab it with my index finger. I bring this strand underneath and bring it under my index finger. Sorry, I don't have someone holding the other end, so it keeps coming closer to me. And what's really neat is if you make a mistake, you can just undo it and try it again. And notice I didn't tie off the other end yet. So this is what my arms look like so far. She looks like she has really long arms. They come down to her ankles. So what you're going to want to do is you want to get some of the extra yarn, and you're going to want to tie it off. So let me get the extra yarn and you can take a quick look at my doll so far. I have some extra yarn here, and what I want to do is kind of gauge this. I kind of put my hands by my side and I'm like, my hands go a little bit past my waist. So I'm going to get some of the string and I'm going to tie the string right here and make like my doll's arm, my doll's wrist. And then the extra strings can be her fingers. So I'm going to make a double knot here, and then what I'm going to do is pull the little extra strings down here, and I'm going to cut these ends off right here. So here goes her first arm. Now that she has fingers, I'm going to flip it over so you guys can see this side. Again, I'm going to put her arms down and put it a little bit closer to, a little bit past her torso or her waist. And tie off where the wrist will be. And since you guys have lots of extra string, if you made a mistake about where to, let's see, oh, they look about even. There you go. So that just about does it for a girl yarn doll. You can trim the little bits of yarn at the bottom to make it nice and even. And if you want to make a boy, or want your doll to have like pants, right, some legs and pants, you can either continue doing another braid down here. So I'm going to do one as a braid, and the other one I'm going to tie it off to make it look like there's a knee and there's ankles on it. Okay, so let me start with the braid. You can count the strands of yarn if you want, or you can just section it off and do a braid. It'll have like muscle legs here, really thick. Oh. And then you tie off the ends. I think mine may have had a little too much yarn because he's got really thick legs. or he or she's got really thick legs. And you can cut off the extra strands to even it out. Right? So you can have a leg like that. Or what I did with some of my boys in class who didn't want to do the braiding, I told them, well, what if you tie off where the knee would be? So they add a little string here. And right here. So let's cut that off. And maybe where the feet would be so it's even with the other one. My kids are watching Brave in the background. Such a good movie. I'm going to cut off the extra strings. There you go. So there's two different ways you could do the legs. So for the arms, for sure, it looks a lot nicer if you braid the arms. For the legs, the bunch of yarn that I use right now, I think I added too many strands. I counted to 40, and normally I count to 30 when I was wrapping it around the book. So this one was really thick. It looks like it has chubby legs. But pretty much just tying off a little knot here for the knee, for the ankle, or if you braid it out, just tie it off where the ankle and the foot would be. And then you want to kind of space out the arms so they're not too long. And then you get a nice little doll that looks like this. Your Esperanza Rising yarn doll.